Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A 100. Now, I know a lot of people wanted me to bash someone's head in for a Q&A for 100 because that's what happened in the comic book, but this is a TV show Q&A. I just thought of that. So maybe for the comic book somebody can volunteer. We have a long way to go till we get there, so more to come about that. But for the TV show, I had a lot of people requesting I do a video about what I don't like in the world of The Walking Dead. Since we're usually talking about everything we love, I made a list of what I don't like. Basically, I went season to season and I touched on the main points, and I still promise I definitely want to do an in-depth look and review and analysis on the older seasons. I want to do a big special, nice video. I have plans for that, but some of those videos and the way I'm thinking about doing them, they're going to take a long time. So we will look at each season when I can do that big one, but we're going to do a quick rundown of each season, all 6 seasons, and then we're going to do an overview of the whole series, like the Digital Blood, like the Ninja Walkers and shit like that. Now let's jump right into this and let's start with season 1. Now I'm not going to be able to go into absolute detail with every single thing, so some of these I know people are going to take the wrong way, and I completely understand that, and I'm already prepared for that. I know I'm going to get people going, oh, that is dumb, what do you mean by that? So please understand, when I say something like supply runs and stuff like that, I don't simply mean them going somewhere looking for supplies. I mean building a story around something like that, but adding more interesting elements, obviously. So, season 1, not enough hectic survival and supply runs. Robert Kirkman, and this was convenient, when he wrote The Walking Dead in the comic book, in the very beginning, he didn't even know this would catch on. So once it finally caught on, it felt like he was writing these characters, and he's like, okay, well, what do I do with them now? You know what I mean? So they're just running in and out of places, but it actually made it feel spontaneous, hectic, realistic. It felt like you were watching just a good old-fashioned post-apocalyptic zombie horror story. It was great, and I think that was very convenient, and it was just an accidental, perfect lineup, because as the characters developed, his writing got better and better, and he got more disciplined. So you can definitely see how it just made this perfect blend along the way. I wish this show was more like that. More unpredictable, all over the place survival, That being said, you could probably already tell, I don't like the Vatos. I think it was try hard. I don't think it was a proper fit for the story they were telling. I do like it. I do think it's good, but I think they could have supplemented that for something that's actually better, something that's a better fit than the Vatos. That being said, the CDC suffers the same fate. It felt like I was watching a whole different show, like a whole different creative team came in and said, you know what, we used to work on Lost, but all of a sudden they put us here, so we got to do what the boss says. And still to this day, I kind of don't enjoy watching that last ending of The Walking Dead for the season 1. Let's go into season 2. I liked the farm. I thought it was great, but I feel like there was too much filler. The Daryl shit, falling down, hurting himself, hallucinating, Merle. Yes, we all love Norman Reedus, but it's just filler. They could have tightened season 2 up a lot, I feel. Keep what's there, but instead of Randall being multiple episodes, wrap that shit up in half an episode, one episode. I mean, wrap it up. I do feel like they could have actually got rid of the farm storyline faster if they would have tightened up the whole season and keep everything. I think Sophia is one of the most iconic must-have moments in the world of The Walking Dead. Keep that shit definitely, but tighten it all up, move it all forward, give us some more story after the barn, like post-barn, surviving out in this world now, and then leave off with the cliffhanger for the prison. And I think that's absolutely necessary with the farm stuff, because they had some really incredible dialogue, some really incredible tension with the humans, but it just had too much filler, and I think the filler had to do with them saying, okay, we're going to split the season for the first time here, and when we return from break, we're going to do this much story. And I think when you do that, you say, okay, we're going to do this and end here, let's fill this. And I think The Walking Dead actually suffers a lot in its writing, splitting it up, but writing it to be split up. I feel like if they just wrote a whole season and then said, okay, well, let's find out where we can split it roundabout, I think they would actually craft a tighter and more interesting story overall. And I think splitting the season up and writing it to be split up hurts the series the most. Actually, as bad as budget cuts, I shit you not. Now, season 3, the Michonne, Andrea going to Woodbury. That was awful. I hate that. I wish they would have changed that. Same thing for Ty and Sasha. I wish Sasha just ran into Andrea Michonne. They could do anything. They could have them get captured, but half of them make it to the prison. They talk about the blonde hair Andrea girl. Rick is like, holy shit, she's alive. We left her for dead. They're going to go to Woodbury to try to say, hey, that's our friend, and get her back. They realize quickly these people are not up for that. They frame them, make them look like they attacked the town. Do something different. Have Rick and them go in anyway. This way you remix it in a good way. You keep Andrea from hooking up with the governor. You keep Andrea from being a hated bitch. And then you can keep her alive, because her dying at the end of that season was a horrible choice. I felt like it was like, okay, we made an underwhelming season finale. We didn't go to war, which was a good thing. I like that they kept the governor alive for season 4, but we need to pick someone who's dying. Okay, look, I dislike this actress the most as far as, the showrunner at the time, so let's just kill her. Take all that out, make the governor darker, remix season 3, and I thought they would have done a lot better of a job. Season 4, the flu. Here's the thing. I like that shit, but I think it's problematic that we've never revisited that. Not even once. I don't know. I just find that problematic. I think it's great, though, but I think bottle episodes hurt season 4 a lot. I think we would do a lot better if we just get rid of the bottle episodes and learn how to, or if they can shift the budget to tighten it up, I think they'd be better for it. Beth being taken, I almost would have preferred if she died in that trapped house. Imagine them getting trapped and they almost find a way out. The door's right there. They can make it. They got a table up, another table up. Daryl grabs a walker, rips him right over, guts him, maybe stands him up, stabs him in the head, guts him all the way down, and then starts loading the guts on him. They didn't overuse the guts at this point in time, but let's just pretend they did. Beth started getting gutted up, and then like her father before her, this would be interesting, just thought of it, she gets bit in the ankle, some shit like that. Daryl is shocked, stunned, and it's just enough for the wall to come in, not the wall, but the table. They start breaking through. She starts getting bitten. He's trying to kill them, but he can't kill as many as, that's overrunning it. So he's killing them, but more and more are starting to bite her. She's suffering, and he has to quickly put her down. I think something like just intense, dramatic, painful, heartbreaking, and then he can stand there covered in zombie guts. Maybe he even gives up for a second, just, oh my god, this is it. And he stands there, and after a while he realizes they're not eating him because he's covered in zombie guts, and they're so focused. So he has to sit there and watch them eat this woman he cares for, eat her body until, they give up or they get bored, however zombies do it. I think something like that would have been vicious, and then we would have skipped all the season 5 problems that I don't like. With season 5, I think they should have expanded the hunters, not by a lot, but by like an episode maybe. Still kept it the same, but just expanded more, made it more creepy. And then the hospital stuff, erase that, find a different way for them to make it down. Beth getting stolen actually led to them getting to Alexandria. Yes, it's important in the story, and I liked it at that point in time, but seeing as I feel like the hospital was underwhelming once it's over and done with, I think they could have remixed that in a better way. Now, with season 6, Glenn's fake out death, I'm always going to support it. I love it, but I feel like they recorded that, and then they said, oh shit, when he falls, it doesn't match. It's a fuck up, I feel like they had to have only noticed it after they recorded it, because if they would have put another dumpster there, you can't argue the way it fell, and I think a lot of people would have taken that fake out death a little bit better, just because it would have made it a little bit more believable. Twisting him in the air like that, and I know they tricked it with everything. They shouldn't have taken his name out of the credits. I do agree with fans who say that they shouldn't have done that. They've never done that before, and that was trickery. Anyway, moving down, we have Daryl and Dwight in season 6. I think they needed more tension, and I've talked about this before. We should have had a scene where Daryl was shutting up a savior and a walker was coming over, and he had to hold him there, gag him, and let the walker eat his throat out. That way Daryl wouldn't get caught. Some vicious shit like that. Now, with the cliffhanger, they should not have focused on Negan's face or shown him at all. They should have shown the bat, the boots, the sound of everything. They should have amplified that, how horrific that is, without showing or revealing his face. They should have done the speech, whatever, but focused on Rick, and then maybe the barbed wire reflection in Rick's eyes. You could see the bat going up, you hear Negan's speech, and as the bat comes down and you hear the crack sound. Rick closes his eyes, just wincing as if that's something he doesn't want to see. When he does that, the whole scene fades to black, and then you continue to hear the same cliffhanger we got, the sounds. I think that would have fit better, because once they put the focus on the victim, it became like a, oh look, you're about to see this, we're just kidding, you're not, and I think that pissed off a lot of fans, and I think it really bit them in the ass, because they wanted the focus to be on Rick, and it was, until they put the camera in the point of view of the victim. At that point in time, there's no more focus on Rick Grimes. Now, at No Way Out, they did a shitty cliffhanger, which at first I loved. I thought it was creative, it was ballsy, and that was Sammy saying, "Mom, Mom, Mom," but when they came back and they didn't even acknowledge it, or they acted like it didn't even happen, or maybe it did happen, but the walkers just didn't care, I think that was horrible, and that was just a trick. That was just inventing a cliffhanger that wasn't even there. Anyway, that's season to season. Let's go over some fillers in the whole series. First one off the bat, bottle episodes. We've brought this up in the past. Yeah, for the most part, bottle episodes don't work. When they're absolutely necessary, like Clear, that works 100%. Here's Not Here, that worked 100%. The placement might not have been the best idea, but that episode itself was great. I loved it. With filler, not all things, but with true filler, I think we get that because A, bottle episodes, B, they are writing the story based around a big break between seasons. So if they want the season to end with No Way Out, guess what they have to do? If there's not enough authentic story, they have to fill it. And with bottle episodes, if they want it to just be about Sasha and Abraham, and there's not enough authentic story, guess what they have to do? They have to fill it. You see what I'm saying? So automatically, bottle episodes and writing a series to be broken up in half, writing that and consciously writing it to that specific break creates filler, no matter what. Now, filler, I will argue this. Fans are usually wrong. Filler is stuff that you can take out and it does nothing to the story. I've heard fans say that the whole Beth storyline is filler. That's not true, even though I disagree with the Beth storyline saying, and I just showed you, how Beth being taken is what led them to Alexandria. You cannot call Beth's storyline filler. Is there filler in Beth's storyline? Shit, yes. But her whole storyline, it's not filler because without Beth's storyline the way it is in the show, they never would have gotten to Alexandria. She's the reason because they wanted to honor her and take Noah home. That's the reason they actually made it out that way. So you have to know that filler is only something you can take out, like Daryl falling off his horse, hallucinating Merle. You can eliminate that completely, show The Walking Dead to someone who's never seen it, and they wouldn't be none the wiser. You know what I mean? The story would be as fluid as it is today. Anyway, obviously you'd have to take everything, him being injured and all that, yeah. But you get what I'm saying. Another thing I don't like, digital blood. I hate digital blood. I can't stand it. Not just digital blood, but the weapons. When there's one, I don't know if it's Rick or Daryl, but he stabs a walker and you can see it. A real knife wound, when it gets stuck, like it's in. If anything's shaken, the whole head better be shaken, not just his hand a little bit. Zombie decay, here's something I don't really harp on. I know some fans go, oh, well, in a couple months, scientists say that zombies would just rot anyway. Well, here's the thing. In the world of The Walking Dead, whatever turns them into a zombie also preserves their body, their flesh, their yada, yada, yada. They rot, but they rot a lot slower. With zombie decay, that's not something I ever care about. I don't care because I want more zombies. I don't want to find realistic reasons for zombies to not exist. Fuck no. Zombies are the one thing in this world that's fake. I'm good with them being fake as shit. You know what I mean? Be fake as fuck, zombies. I don't care. Next, we have zombies sneaking. Now, here's the thing. Yes, it's true. Zombies are ninja zombies sometimes. But you have to understand, when you're around all that gunfire, if there's a scene where the characters are like, baka, 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 you ever shoot a gun in real life? That shit is going to be for a minute. You know what I mean? They're not going to hear that shit. Now, should we hear it as fans? Probably. But I think it's better off we don't. If there's guns. Now, if they're just standing in the woods and all of a sudden the zombie's right here, yes, at those times they failed to make, because you're not going to walk silently in the woods. Even if you're a zombie, it's not going to happen. So for those moments, Yes, AMC, the sound people, they failed completely. They set that up. It was a bullshit jump scare, sure. But if they're in the woods or if they're in a building or whatever and they're bucking off guns and then they turn a corner and there's a zombie here, a sneaky zombie, that definitely, I don't even count that, because if you're shooting guns in real life, it's going to damage your hearing, and immediately after you're going to have this pitch ringing in your ears, especially without, and I don't know why they're not using, in real life they would be, they'd be running around with ear things in their ears. Anyway, you have zombies that attack and then zombies that die. Now here's the thing, when zombies kill characters, whether they're popular characters or minor or new characters or characters that are on the screen just to die, zombies are more vicious. They lunge, they grab, they bite, they kill. When it's a zombie that's attacking a main character and they get away, they kill the zombie, they wait to die. And I think that over choreographedness is that's not even a word, but I don't know, maybe it is. I think they over choreograph some of that to where it's starting to get too noticeable. I've noticed that a lot in Fear the Walking Dead in Season 2, and I'm hoping we don't notice that a lot in Season 7 of The Walking Dead, because that's something that needs to be corrected. Now, the zombies and the people, only needed for story elements. This is problematic. I walked to that building in the world of The Walking Dead. Now, in the real world, or in a more realistic setup, there might be a couple zombies lingering around. I might have to kill some. There might be some survivors lingering around, scavenging something. But in the world of The Walking Dead, both in the comic, and the comic suffers this, as well as the comic, the games, not so much the games, but the shows, everything that has to do with the world of The Walking Dead, the world is set up like this. If zombies need to be there for the story, they're there. If they don't need them for the story, characters walking in open streets with no zombies in sight. You know what I mean? And I am aware in the beginning they showed zombies sporadically more and more. But lately in seasons, it's like you get characters going here to there, and if there's no zombies that fit the storyline, you don't see them, So I think that's problematic. I'd like to see more zombies and characters, even survivors, sporadically. Let's see some survivors that don't want to fucking hear anything from anyone else. They're surviving, they're gathering gear. You get Rick and, hey, no, don't even come over here. We've met survivors. You just stay in your own area. Leave us the fuck alone, Even if they do that, that's fine. Anyway, instant daylight and instant night, yes, that's a problem. Romance is a problem. 9 times out of 10, romance feels awkward in the world of The Walking Dead. There's a couple moments where it feels authentic, and that's fine. Somewhere in the romance department, it seems like, again, 9 times out of 10, it's clunky, Now, pretty people, yes, the hugging, the kissing, the cuddling, while smelling like shit and death, that is completely unrealistic. Just recently in Fear the Walking Dead, he's covered in zombie shit and blood and guts, and Lucy, whatever, she puts her head against his back where the blood and guts and zombie shit is, and she gives him a loving cuddle or embrace for a moment, and then she's like, stay, and walks away. People would not do that. He would smell like ass. Not only that, the kissing, looking pretty, looking like you are a model instead of surviving the zombie apocalypse. And I know some people go, well, they're in a hotel, well, they're in this. Well, we've seen pretty people in real life that either they're on vacation or taking a day off, and they look incredibly different than these pretty people on TV. And I'm talking about naturally beautiful people. Their hair isn't so immaculate. I mean, they might throw it in a ponytail, and you can see the frays. I know in real life, women who get their hair done, it's like this perfect. But women who, they didn't get their hair done yet, and they're lounging around, and we're talking from beautiful to white trash, they get the fray in the hair. You know the look. When you find a chick who's lounging around, you get the fray that doesn't exist when she pampers herself up. They do that too much in the show. Let's just show a woman with fray. I don't even know what to call it. What do you call it? Whatever. And the final thing that pisses me off in the world of The Walking Dead that I cannot stand, and it's one thing that I thought they would actually put in Fear the Walking Dead, and if AMC ever wants to do a spin-off, I'm volunteering to write it, and it's going to be a very small story, isolated story, because it's going to take place in somewhere that has fucking snow. I think Fear the Walking Dead would have been a million fucking times better if we just went to a cabin in the woods with snow. And there was, for whatever reason, somebody hiding out in a cabin, vacationing, anything. They could be Walter White some different Walter White, a drug dealer hiding out, he's on the run. And I'm just bullshitting right now, I'm joking. But I'm talking like a character in the snow, and then he comes down to a city, can't take it anymore, the mini town, and there's weird things going on, and just focus the first 2-3 episodes in this snow-covered town where you can only see 5 feet in front of you, and then zombie shit is happening. Oh man, it gives me the chills just thinking about it. That's one thing that they've failed miserably on in the world of The Walking Dead, the original show. Snow played a character in the comic, and on the show it was like, yeah, we don't need that. And they could have, oh man, I feel like they could have made some truly iconic scenes with Snow, and I don't get it. Like in the comic, just as a quick nitpick, in the comic there was a shitload of zombies that came for them during No Way Out, but it felt like the snow helped, at least to some degree. It helped them battle off because they were fighting like gladiators, you know? But in the comic, and I don't know if a lot of people picked this up as they were reading it, but it felt like the snow slowed them down just a bit for them to survive. And I always thought, had it not been snowing, had it been summertime, they would have died during No Way Out. And I always loved that idea. That idea that this is a situation that they fought, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, they fought. With every fiber of their being, they fought. But had it been summertime, it doesn't matter how much they fought. They would have died then and there. I've always been in love with that idea. Just that idea that, you know, you can fight still, but you need a little bit of luck no matter what in this world to survive. I've always been in love with that idea. Now, with all the negativity towards the show, I want you guys to understand something still. Walking Dead has still been my all-time favorite show, but now it's your turn. What are the flaws in The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, the comic, the video games, the whatever, the novels, you know, if it has to do with the world of The Walking Dead and the characters in The Walking Dead, if it's in entertainment right now, the spin-off, the Alien comic, whatever it is, put your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. Maybe we can come back and revisit this topic. Hoping that's not too long. Watch out for ninja walkers. If you've made it this far, type that in the comment box. Subscribe now.